Hey guys, I'm HP. This is Dr. Pink and today's topic is rock guitar start working with modes. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button and also join the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. So, what are we talking about today? Probably already heard it, expanding your repertoire of melodic ideas on your rock guitar solo, and learn to understand why using modes, because the most argument against modes is why should I use modes? I mean, in this case we have a track with A minor to F to G, so they use the A minor scale. Then the argument could be, when you split it off into modes, you have A minor would be A Aeolian, F would be F Lydian, and G would be G Mixolydian. And then the argument is, what's the deal? It's all the same notes. They just start from a different note, and that's exactly the point. Is we learn to understand that the mode is the grid where you work within. When you create a motif, a little melody inside that grid, as an example, which I just did, and then you go to next chord, you can transpose motifs or ideas to the new grid by analyzing instantly what you played and put it to the new grid and to the next grid. It's basically the same argument, just moved from one mode to the other, and that's what we're talking about today, to understand the magic of moving these motifs through those grids, and also to work around something which starts sounding really nice and professional. Alright, before we start, we first need to check out the modes themselves, how they're played, and as already said, this track I created here is a simple track in A minor with 3 chords. A minor, 2 bars, 1 bar F, 1 bar G. Okay. And as I said, you could see this track just as a track in A minor. So we're taking the A minor in a position you probably already know. That will be the A minor scale, or A minor. This is also A minor Aeolian. Now, if you want to go to the mode of F, you could stay within this pattern here. Here is the F, and then you just start the mode from here. You might hear it because you shifted inside the grid, the scale sounds different, and that's why it is a different scale, because the sum of intervals is different. Also, when we go to G, so this will be the G. We're playing the scale from the G to G, and this creates another scale. So even they're the same notes, it's the intervals which change. And the trick is you need to know the intervals within the mode. So when we analyze this, A minor, Aeolian, the intervals are 1, the root note, 2, this is a flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, then it starts again, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. So the intervals are 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. So that's basically the mode. And it doesn't change wherever on the fretboard you play it. If you play it, I don't know, you can play it on one string if you want. No, let's do it on one string. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. So you can play this little motif I played at the beginning. You can also play it like this. Or here. Or in this position. Or wherever, here. It's all the same. And if you can do that, the more you can do it on the entire fretboard, the more you get total freedom in where you're playing, but you still play on the motif and inside the grid. And that's the main point of the whole thing. Okay, so that's why it's really important that you learn that a mode is not just a pattern which you learn by heart. It's also important that you learn the intervals, because then you can transpose it on any spot on the fretboard after a certain time. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight, but this is now the first step to starting, as I was saying, starting with modes. Understand a mode is a grid with intervals. Now when we go to F, Lydian, the intervals would be 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, then 1 again. And now this is maybe a bit complicated if you want to play it here. Now if you want to do it in a similar position as A minor, you go here. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7. And when you play the two modes one after each other, now whoops, even you're playing the same notes, you hear the chords now. You're following the chords with the mode by just switching the grid, and that's the main point. When you go to G, this creates the intervals of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. So that will be the grid of that, and we want to switch it here. G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. So this is G Mixolydian. I'm sorry for the names, but these are the names. I don't know who wanted to have these names, but these are the official names of the modes. Okay, so we have A Aeolian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian. And if you have any kind of A flat Mixolydian, is the same intervals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, or any Lydian has the same intervals. Now, when it comes to practical use, how do you use that? Some people think you need to play fast, you know. If you can, of course you can do that, but most of you guys cannot, and it's mostly also not needed for a song to sound nice. The idea is more that you, as I said, that you can create a melody within the grid which moves through the chords. Now we take the example I played at the very beginning, this one here. Very simple melody, you start here. And now comes the trick. You analyze this motif within the grid you're playing, in this case, A Aeolian. So this is root 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5. So this goes from root to 5 in the mode. Now you want to move this motif to the next grid, which will be F Lydian. You go here to the F. So you play from 1 till 5, but within the new mode, which creates 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5. When you move this to G, now you move it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you use this already in your soloing, you already start from really simple. It already works. Even it's a really a basic thing here, you already hear the chords. It sounds sophisticated because you're moving through the modes. And when you now start adding stuff in between, you can use this grid of motifs as a major grid, and then you start to make fill-ins however you want, and then you're already where we want to be. See, it already, and this is, and the soloing is in it, sounds like a whole unit. And the trick is also, I mean, if you keep something as simple as this, now you can start connect from one position to the next. That will be. So you make a little fill in. Now you will know you want to go to the root note of the next chord, and you need to know where that is, and that's why you need modes. Now you play it here. Then you need to go from here to the next root note. And then you already sound quite professional. No. Now you probably think, okay, why should I play the motif always from a low note to a high note? You can also invert it. This would lead to motif number 1, second. So you inverted the motif now on the F, so we start here on the 5. Go to the normal one, invert it. And just by this inversions of the motif, you already have a great thing to do. Okay, now you make the connecting notes between the inversions. And then nobody will notice that you always play the same motif, okay? I'll show you. And then comes the next, you split it up. You don't need to play the same rhythm all the time, but you keep the melodic phrasing, you keep it up, but work with the inversions. And then, seriously, nobody will notice that just playing one motif. I'll show you. See, I always came back to the main motif, and in between I started to work freely. And that's exactly how you work with modes. It's not about, you know, noodling around. The next step, what is not for today is enough. The next step will be to Now we were just staying in position, okay? And on the next tutorials, and please subscribe to my channel to follow those tutorials, we will learn how to develop a whole thing over the entire fretboard just by using the motifs, always moving the grid, and that's how it is. Okay guys, that was rock guitar starting with modes, and that's the way you start with modes, and that's the main thing. I know it's a lot of brain work and it's quite complicated to switch from pentatonics to this type of playing, but it enlarges your repertoire of expression dramatically, I must say. So it's really worth getting through this topic, and after a while it gets natural that you always see you play from one chord to the other. You know, when you improvise, that's the way you work with modes, and then you start developing motifs through the whole grid of modes, and that's basically the main thing. And if you can play fast runs, of course you can also use these runs as connecting dots between those motifs which you're developing, and that's what it's all about. Good. I'm gonna write this stuff down which I just explained for you, plus this backing track will be available in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. Please join there with a free member account, but in order to download this stuff you need a premium member account. If you love my tutorials, please share my channel to all your friends and pals and guitar buddies, and tell the guitar world about this channel here and help it to remain on the market. Yo. Good. Me and Dr. Pink are saying goodbye.